Hi there, this is Simon from writtenlegalenglish.com and welcome to this video where I'm going to go through the text that I showed you on Tuesday and show you how an old, complicated piece of legislation has been rewritten into plainer English. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the text I asked you to have a look at on Tuesday. If you didn't see the text, then read through the text now and think about how you would redraft it from the point of view of tabulation and document design. If you have done that, then let's find out how this would be redrafted. Okay, so this is the original text and this is the plain English redraft. The redraft which is now in force. This one was in force, it's now been replaced by this one, which is in force. And I want to take you through some of the changes to explain to you and show you exactly how those changes were made and explain a little bit about why those changes were made. So the first place to start is with the word shall. Now, if you've seen some of my videos or if you're familiar with plain English, you know that shall is a complicated word because the courts have interpreted it as meaning many different things. It has one official legal meaning, which is must, in other words, creating an obligation, but the courts have understood it as meaning must, will, should, and may, which all change the meaning of a sentence. So shall is a complex word, we shouldn't be using it, and you can see that there are two uses of it in the original text. An application to the court for an order shall be made by motion, which, unless made during a hearing or a trial, shall be made in writing. So how does the redraft deal with this? Well, here. The first shall is a must. We're creating an obligation. Here, this is in the redraft, is a very clear message. How must the court order be made? It must be made by motion. The second use of shall also is must, also creating an obligation, but this time in terms of the criteria that must be met. Now, in a common understanding, most people would understand it in this way, that shall equals must. But because the courts have interpreted it, it does allow for interpretation in different ways. So it's much better just to avoid shall, to eliminate shall, and that's exactly what has happened here. What about a piece of legalese? Therefore. Because people might think, okay, therefore legalese, I need to include legalese because legalese is in legal writing, right? No. This redraft, it looks at what that legalese word actually meant, in this case for. It redrafts the sentence in a much easier way. State with particularity the grounds for seeking the order. Much easier than shall state with particularity the grounds therefore. I think you would agree. And lastly, set forth, which is just replaced with state. So you can see that all of the redrafts make the text a lot more approachable and easier to read. Now, of course, I must give credit to the people that actually did this, and the team was in a huge way influenced by one of the godfathers of plain English, a gentleman called Professor Joseph Kimball, and the information came from this article, which explains a lot about why the changes were made. And these changes were made in legislation, the new federal rules of civil procedure. I've linked you to this article below or above this video, depending on where you're watching this video, and you can see in this article, which is from August 2007 from the Michigan Bar Journal, which is also a fantastic resource for everything to do with plain English in law. And this article is really, really valuable because it gives you lots and lots of examples of redrafts from the horrible, stale legal language into fresh, easy to understand plain English. For example, and you can see over my shoulder, the old 4A, the new 4A. And it goes through plenty of different examples, all the way to the example I used for this video and the video on Tuesday, which you can see here, the old 7B1 and the new 7B1. Plenty of examples, lots of befores and afters to show you how old-fashioned, horrible legalese writing can be redrafted into fresher, easily understandable plain English. and to underline the point that this new language, let's say this new approach, is now enacted, it's now in force. This is what lawyers are using in America, and this really should provide the momentum and the model for everyone else to change not just legislation but their own legal writing into a fresher, plainer, more easily understandable form of writing. And one way that you can quickly improve your writing to change it from that horrible legal or business style into fresher, more approachable English is to have a look at my content that I put out on Tuesdays and Fridays, these videos, and the short video I put out on Wednesday as well. To make sure that you get those videos, subscribe on YouTube, like me on Facebook, connect to me on LinkedIn, or consider supporting me on Patreon. On Patreon, you're going to get access not only to these videos, but all of my course videos, the questions and the answers, so you can really go into depth and practice your writing skills, develop your writing skills, and then be able to communicate after a certain period of time and a certain time of practice in a much clearer, much more client-friendly way. Okay guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you again on Tuesday with another redrafting video.